They can take math with Crown. They can take Spanish with Crown. They can take science with Crown or Northwestern. They can take Bible with Northwestern. They can take history with Northwestern. Why not do all 6? Okay, think about that for a moment. How many classes did you take at a time, parents, when you were in college each semester? 4, maybe 5, unless they were 2 credit classes, right? And now your kid wants to take 6 dual credit classes, and if they're a junior, they're required to take a 7th class here as well? Yeah, that is just not feasible. It's not reasonable to be able to expect them, especially because we have athletes, we have people who are doing theater, we have musicians who are working out, have extra performances outside of the school day. All these demands on them, and they're working too, because it's fun to work. I don't know if I would necessarily. Anyway, you need to think about this carefully. Yes, they're earning free college credit. That's cool, that's awesome. They're learning a difficult subject in maybe smaller class sizes. We don't have those 200 student lecture halls that some of these institutions have. They can try out a subject at a college level to see if they like that subject, see if they're good at that subject, get more one-on-one guidance from our teachers here, because they're more accessible than a college professor. College professors sometimes are only on campus for their class that they teach, and then maybe 1 or 2 office hours. They're not here at the college necessarily 8 hours a day or accessible 8 hours a day. Maybe your student would be able to finish college sooner, or if you're like my daughter, you're gonna do 5 years, 2 majors, a minor, and a semester of studying abroad instead of getting done in 3 years. But she was able to do that without having as much cost as her older siblings. So upperclassmen benefits sometimes are offered to students that have higher, if they come in as a junior, they might be able to register sooner, they might get parking benefits, they might be able to live off campus. Parents, I don't know if you want that or not that first year, but a lot of schools won't let freshmen live off campus. They have to live on campus, so some of those benefits are available to upperclassmen. And we do have students graduating with full 2 semesters done or even 3 semesters done. A couple have even gotten to that almost 4 or fully 4 semesters done, and that's pretty amazing. But what are the risks that you're facing if you are trying to do all of that? First of all, these are college courses. They are at college level content. And our teachers can't change that. We can't teach slower and teach less. They have to cover everything that's in the syllabus because it's the same exact syllabus here as it is at Crown or Northwestern. So all of the content has to be covered. A lot of times the tests themselves are determined by the teacher, the professor at Crown or even Northwestern. So they're harder classes, which might mean a lower grade. Now, we also weight the grades. The PSOS classes are on a 5 scale instead of a 4. So an A in a non-PSOS dual credit class is a 4.0 credit points. In a PSOS class, an A would be 5, but a B would still be 4. So there's that added benefit of the weighted grade, but that might be counteracted by a lower grade in the class. So think about that. I was just today talking with a teacher about a young man that decided last fall he definitely wanted to do the PSOS class, and he understood that he might be taking a lower grade, and that was okay because he wanted the benefit of taking that class with this particular teacher and felt that he could be successful, and indeed he has been. Keep in mind that that grade that is being earned, though, is going to be on their college transcript. So if we're talking about the difference between a C and a D, or worse yet, a D and an F, that D or F could be permanently on their transcript. So weigh that carefully. very likely going to have more homework, which means less time for activities of any kind, even less time for doing homework in other classes, but they still have to do that homework in their other classes. So maybe they have to skip church on Wednesday night. Maybe they have to talk to their coach about missing practice one day, those kinds of things. So, and then lastly, the credits will transfer from Northwestern or Crown to whatever college they attend. Now, of course, Crown and Northwestern would love to have you come to their institution, and then there's no question about what can happen with those credits. But they're going to transfer to the other college, and in most instances, in all of the instances, we've worked hard to choose classes that will have the greatest chance of transferring well, but sometimes, for instance, our biology class. At Northwestern, we purposely chose one that is for students that are pursuing a biological sciences degree, so that students that are going in that direction don't have to take another biology class. Students who aren't going for that degree can still take this biology class, and it satisfies a biology credit and gets it out of the way. And that would transfer to most schools as just a lab science class. You're not going to have to worry about that. But I happen to know, I think it's Bethel, that requires that you take their particular nursing biology class if you're going to be in the nursing program there. So yeah, you can have that as elective credits, but you're going to still take biology over if you go to Bethel and want to be a nurse. Okay, so sometimes these credits will transfer more as an elective credit, just like if you take 4 years of music here, you only need 1 credit of fine arts, but you get 3 extra years of fine arts credits, elective credits. Same thing with world language. We require 2 years, you take 4 years, they count as elective credits. Okay, so weigh that carefully, and that's part of why we want parents here tonight, because the students always get so excited about all these credits that they can take, and then they go home, yeah, it'll be easy, I can do it, Mom and Dad, but I want you to have those serious conversations. If a student wants to do more than 3 of these PSOS, AP, or even honors level classes, they need a special permission for that, and we do have a form that is on our school site where you register. There's a resources tab. You can find that 3+, I think it's 3+ advanced classes permission form. You as parents have to read it, sign it, student has to read it, sign it, and then it comes to our counselors, and we actually will do a little bit of research, and we'll look at their transcript, and we'll maybe have a conversation with the teacher or 2 if we're concerned, to make sure that that student can be successful, because we don't want any students here to not be successful. Okay, so which classes do we have? And I think I got them all this year. I just learned today that my pointer, there it is, this environmental science and sustainability, we didn't have enough students, and we don't have enough teaching bandwidth to offer that this next year. We'll hopefully bring it back in the following year. It was well received this year, but we have we actually have 4 sections of the biology class that need to be covered, and that's a lot between Dr. Benson and Mr. Flint to cover, and Dr. Benson has a lot of other duties. So you can take that last one off the list there. Critical thinking and writing, let me talk about that. You see 3 different English classes there from Northwestern. If you are a junior and you are in AP Lit and is it Langenkamp or Littenkamp? Anyway, if you're in AP English this year, English 11, you are already going to have earned a composition. Let's assume you get a 3 or better. You will have earned credits for a composition course. So you don't need that composition course at Northwestern. Well, our regular English 12 is PSOS Lit in the fall, PSOS Comp usually in the spring. Well, instead of comp, we're offering a new critical thinking and writing course instead, which is actually, I think, a 3-credit class, or is it? Anyway, it's a little bit less demanding, and it's not a repeat of comp for you. If you've already had comp, you can take that class. You have to have had comp to get in that class. But if you're in AP English 11 and registered for comp, that is going to be a duplication. You actually, the college will probably say, no, you might count it as an elective, but they probably won't get any credit at all. Either you cancel one or the other out, okay? So, just a quick word about online classes. Again, they're supposed to be classes that are not taught here at Southwest, or if your schedule here doesn't allow for you to take a Southwest class. So there are sometimes seniors who haven't gotten their PE class out of the way yet. So how do I do PE when I'm doing chamber singers and accidentals and all my other classes, and then I can't fit in my PE class? Well, Crown has a 2-credit PE class that you could, or Northwestern has a 2-credit PE class that you can take, and we've allowed some students to do that. There's sociology that can be done online. There's sometimes some like art history or those kinds of classes that you could take. There's all sorts of good things that you can take online that we don't offer. You would get an extra open hour here to work on that online class. You don't register for them on our site though, because we don't offer them. You only register, so technically they're not dual credit because it's only through the college that you're getting that credit. But we actually do put that on our transcript because it's going to satisfy one of your requirements here, even if it's just an elective. Okay? Students are not allowed to take more than 8 classes total between what they do here and what they're doing online, because the state won't allow that. We have to give an open hour for each online class that your student is taking. The college determines the start and end dates for these online classes, so they may not match up with our semester, so you got to watch that carefully. They might have to start sooner, or they might have to get done sooner. And so the student's thinking, oh, finals aren't until December 22nd, great. And then all of a sudden their final paper is due on December 13th for their online class. So be aware of that. If you need help with the online platform, registration, those kinds of things, you usually go right through them. Now, Mrs. Gravel and Mrs. Tupy can help with applying at those schools, doing your NOSR form, all of that kind of stuff, which we're going to get to. We can help with all of that, but once you get accepted, any glitches in those systems, we're going to send you right to them, even for the on-site classes, because we can't fix Moodle, we can't fix Canvas and those issues. So here are the forms that you're going to need. If you're applying for the first time and you're going to take a class from Crown and you're going to take a class from Northwestern, you're going to need 2 state forms, the MDE or NOSR form. And you're going to fill one out for Crown and you're going to fill one out for Northwestern, because the state won't let the colleges talk to each other. They want one from both institutions because they're paying the institutions for those credits. Okay, you also have to apply to each of those institutions if this is a first time for you. The NOSR form has to be done every single semester, even if you're a returning student. So you're going to do one now for next fall, then next fall you'll do one for the spring, and so on. So you might do 4 of these over your 2 years in the Southwest Dual Credit Program. Okay? If you're doing just PSOS on site with Northwestern, you're just going to need to do 1 for them. If you're going to do just Crown, you're going to do 1 for them. If you're doing PSEO online for any school, let's say you're going to do Northwestern here, one of our classes, Northwestern one of our classes, and let's say Bemidji State has the coolest ever class that you want to take, and they're a Minnesota school, you would need 3 forms, and you'd still get that open hour. Obviously, our counselor can help you with that. So, at this time, we're going to have you, tonight, we're going to have you apply. If you haven't already applied, if you're already in one of those schools, you don't have to apply. We're going to have you fill out for sure the NOSR form online or on paper. We've got the paper ones in back. Northwestern has an online option. Does Crown have an online option for the NOSR form? No, okay. So Crown for sure, you're going to have to do a paper form. Northwestern you can do. Once you get into their application site for PSEO, you'll be able to do it there. you're going to fill out that form, and filling out that form and turning it in to our professor, or our counselors, sorry, will trigger us to send them the transcript. So you don't have to ask for the transcript. That's automatic when we get those forms. So make sure that your counselor gets that signed state form. If you are, as a student, under the age of 18 right now, you have to have your parents sign that form. If your birthday is in 2 days, wait 2 days and you don't have to have your parents sign the form. If your birthday isn't until next fall, too bad. We want the form now and you need to have a parent sign it, okay? Once you get all that in, you have to wait for the institution to process your paperwork and accept you. And then once they accept you, they send you an email saying, yay, you're in. Here's your new email address, because you're going to have another email. You're going to have a Northwestern email and a Crown email, perhaps. And then in that email, you have to watch it because it'll tell you how to register. You won't get that from the Southwest email. You won't be able to log into your Southwest email and find that. You're going to have to log in at Northwestern. Did I get my instructions yet? Did I get my instructions yet? Once you get that welcome letter, you have to be checking their email, okay? And then you're going to register. And that's what we will do with you on a Tuesday or a Thursday morning in May. Okay, so before we go to that, we're going to have, I guess we have Crown first. So we'll bring, this is Emily Cano, right? Cano. She will talk about what Crown is offering. I couldn't get this one to work, so.
Good evening. I have the list of classes that we are offering on the screen. So we have a number of business classes, and then math and science, and humanities and social science. So these are between 2 and 4 credits. So it varies depending on the class. I don't think, you know what, actually, yeah, we do have course descriptions on our packet back there of these classes. So if there's any that you want to see more information, you can see the course description and the number of credits there. Okay, also in the course catalog for Southwest. Ann mentioned the online classes, so this is a list. We have 20-some classes. Some of these are ones that are already offered here. I did want to point out, since you brought up the PE, we have a great one that I have more and more PSEO students doing. If you're a high school athlete, we have a 1-credit personal physical fitness, and 30 hours of the 40-hour course are logging your physical activity. So if you're already doing a high school sport, you could take a 1-credit. And so you can repeat it. So you could earn up to 3 credits for, you know, if you're playing basketball or you're doing lacrosse. Need 2 credits. High school credits or college credits converted?
They need 1 PE semester for us, which is 2 college credits.
Oh, okay. So you could do that through, like I said, most of it through courses you already, or activities you're already doing here at the school or outside of school. And our online classes, there's no set meeting times. They're all asynchronous, and they're 15 weeks long, and they just have weekly requirements, Thursday and Sunday deadlines, and then our classes are just PSEO students in them. And then the application process, our application is online. There's no information that you need, like it asks for your social security number, but you don't have to put that in, so you should be able to sit down and do your application all at once. We do require a 3.0 GPA, and then if you have a little bit lower than that, then we just ask you to fill out a petition, which is a 1 or 2 paragraph kind of describing why you think you'll be successful in college classes. We don't require any standardized tests. We have the deadline here is June 1st, but really what we would like you to do is to apply this week, and then we can get the paperwork in over the next couple weeks, and then it was already mentioned, we'll be back in May to do registration with you. So we would need you to get accepted, get your email, your IT account all set up, and then we can get you registered. And we like to do that before you leave for the summer, because once summer hits, you're not thinking about college and registration. And then it shows there what you need to do, which has already been discussed. How we work with, after you are accepted, within a couple days of acceptance, you get emailed to whatever email you use on your application. Usually students are using their Southwest email. We will email you to that account with your IT information. You get 2 emails. You go set it up. You create your password, which is annoying because it's 14 characters, you know, and it has the numbers and the characters and the uppercase, lowercase, but you get that set up, and then after that, we can send you registration instructions, and then you could either do it on your own, or you can come one of those mornings, and we'll be here to help you with registration. And I think that's my last slide, so we'll bring Heidi up.
Thank you all for coming tonight. I want to commend Southwest really to say what an amazing opportunity. All of these classes that you can take from Northwestern or from Crown, it's just incredible for students to be able to do that right in their school with their high school teacher who's also a college professor who really cares about the student. And, you know, I say that from a place of experience because my son was doing classes at a local Christian school by where we live. He had a great experience and then ran into some bumps, of course, when COVID hit, and he was on our campus a little bit and was having some challenges. And when he got to college, he went to Michigan Tech, and when he's there, his roommate's a freshman, he's a sophomore, his roommate's running into all kinds of trouble. Challenges, struggle, away from home, it's just hard, and it's a lot harder than he expected it to be. And my son called me and he said, you know, Mom, I'm really glad that we did this when I was at home the first time, and I got to understand what these deadlines meant and how to be a college student in the comfort of our own home, and then also with my high school teachers who I could stay after school and chat and, you know, do football practice with, and just that was really significant. And so I just want to I'm so grateful that Southwest offers these courses because it's really beneficial for students to get this experience right in their own classrooms. I want to, before I start into this, I'll just share a little bit about the PSEO legislation that's going on at the state capitol. I want to say thank you to anyone who has reached out on behalf of Christian universities. Crown and Northwestern are both impacted by this legislation. It is legislation that was put forth by the Senate and the House, 2 separate bills initially, but the language in the bill just indicates that students who are required to sign a faith statement in order to attend the school of their choice, that institution won't be eligible for PSEO funds. Sorry, yes. Correct. Sorry, I'm not sure what I said. Yep, sorry. So yeah, the college, the eligible institution, meaning the post-secondary institution, won't be eligible and that for those funds. And that we've gotten clarification, and of course that's just impacting those students who come to our campuses who have to sign faith statements in order to be a part of our Christian community, you know, entering into that covenant at our schools. And it impacts both of our institutions. So, you know, our people have been working closely, our presidents and others from Christian University have been working closely to try to get that language struck from the bill, and that's where a lot of families stepped in and wrote letters or went and spoke at the Capitol. So we just thank you for that. The language has not been struck, and it hasn't been voted on yet, but it's likely to go for a vote next week. So we will see, you know, what happens next week. But our on-campus programs are in the balance. It doesn't impact our on-site programming, and it doesn't impact our online programming, because neither of those are required to sign a faith statement from the institution, Northwestern or Crown's perspective. If you have questions about that, I'll be around here afterwards, and I'm happy to chat with you, or Emily probably as well. So don't hesitate to ask. But again, I just want to say thank you for that, and we just continue to, you know, ask for your prayers because the decisions that the colleges have to make now in order to figure out what's going to happen next. And you know, I know that Northwestern and Crown both, you know, we haven't we haven't put aside, the opportunities to maybe litigate that or to see what the bounds are of how we can move ahead so that we don't watch our religious liberties get stripped away by legislative decisions. So anyway, again, thank you very much for that. For Northwestern, at Southwest, these are the courses that are offered. For next fall, as was already said, we're not offering the environmental science for this next year, but we'll have all these other courses, biology and history and the literature. The PHI, Introduction to Philosophy, fulfills a Bible credit if a student were to come to Northwestern later, so that's one of those Bible credits selectives that they can take, but it is a non-sectarian course, so it's covered by MDE because of the way that it's written. And then that national government. In the spring, you see those other courses. We offer courses both in that semester or in a year-long capacity. So the ones that are listed there as year-long, those are offered both fall and spring. It's just elongated over the course of the year, but we always put them in the fall because that's when we submit the credits to MDE. And then I wanted to put a smattering of our online offerings up there. We're in the process of redoing our catalog, so it should be available in PDF form in our website before too long. And if you have questions about that, you can certainly email our advising staff and they can send you that link if you need it. But all those course descriptions will be in there. We just have a variety of classes that are offered asynchronously, and I think it's probably over 60 classes that you could take, Bible classes or PSEO eligible courses. So a couple that I want to highlight on here, we are starting a new associate, I do this all the time, Associate of Science and Computer Science, and we're adding some additional computer science classes online. So if you have any interest in that, that would be a fun elective for you. Even theater, we have a online theater class. So this is my opportunity to just plug, we don't know what's going to happen in our on-campus program, but we imagine that our online program may grow as a result of students not being able to come to campus at some point. So if anyone out there has any desire or ever thought, maybe I should think about being a college professor, what would that take? And you have a master's degree in a content area, maybe we should chat, because we're always looking for online instructors. So yeah, that was my shameless plug. Sorry, I didn't ask for permission to do that. I hope that was all right. For application to Northwestern, when you go to our website, on the upper right-hand corner, there is a yellow button that says apply, and you just click right on that, and it will kind of walk you through these portals where you need to kind of sign up for a, you have to sign into a portal by starting a password, and so that you can get logged back into it if you step out of it and don't complete it in one fell swoop. It doesn't take very long, maximum probably 10 minutes to complete this application, but this is what the screens look like, and then you set that password and you can get back into it if you can't finish it while you're sitting here. And then this same password is what you'll use if you want to check your status or if you want to see what your decision was if you missed that email. So for admission, our requirement is that you have a 2.75 GPA. We don't require this standardized test scores either. And then a high school transcript and an NOSR form in order to be accepted. So acceptance doesn't happen without those items the first time around. And then the NOSR form, we will prompt you to submit that every semester from our office. You have a hold on your registration until it comes in. So we have to have it in order for you to register. The application deadlines here are listed. So for fall, July 15th is what you're looking at. And even as was already said, doing this now and getting all of this paperwork done means that we can help you register before you leave, because again, all of it has to be done before you can register. And so before you leave for summer, then you'll be an official college student. Once you're admitted, there will get a decision posted right in your portal, and so it will show you that a decision is ready for you, and then it will tell you, you know, you're in and you've got this, and they'll give you the next steps. It'll have some links for you to reach, you know, to kind of explore, and then it will name your academic advisor. And our academic advisors, we have 4 of them, and they are all by alphabet. So depending on the beginning of your last name, will be dependent on the advisor that you work with. But our advisors work as a solid team, and so if someone's out or if you have a question that isn't getting answered, we have an advising email, advisingde@unwsp.edu, and we have cards that have that on the back. So if you can't remember that and you want to grab one of those so you know how to get a hold of somebody for any question that you have, that's helpful. And this is probably a little hard to read, but there are duplicates of this little graphic in the back, but it just kind of walks you through what those steps are for registration, for application and registration. All of your textbooks for any of the courses that come from Northwestern, we either deliver here or we have here already for you, so those are covered by MDE. Any textbook for any online class is either right within your Moodle course site because it's an electronic version, or our bookstore will ship it out to your home, and then it'll be your responsibility to ship it back to the institution when you're finished so that you don't get a fancy little charge for it. All right, that's what I have here. Thank you, and again, appreciate you coming out on this beautiful night, and there's probably 1,000 other places you'd want to be, but we're grateful for your patience and for your attention.
Okay, with that, you have work to do. I request that at the barest minimum, you leave a form, NOSR form, for both institutions or whichever institution you're going to be in with the counselors back there before you leave. If you're a new student, she said it only takes 10 minutes. Apply tonight. That's why we asked you to bring your devices. Get that application done. They're here to help you if you get stuck. Yes, sir.
And just to clarify then, number 1, apply is the same thing as enroll, right? Terminology-wise?
We don't use the word enroll.
Earlier you said you need to enroll tonight.
Okay, apply. Yes, you need to apply tonight. Yes.
And then are you saying that there's both a hard copy option as well as going online?
The application has to be done online. The NOSR form is hard or online, and Crown only has hard. I know they both said the application deadline is, and gave a future date. Our application deadline is apply no later than May 1. We'll tell everybody when we send out the communication next week. But do it tonight, please. Unless you have one of those other events you have to go to. Somebody's performing over there, go listen to them perform. That's more important. But if you can do that application online tonight and then give the NOSR form to your counselor, you're going to be so much more ready for registration in May. We expect all of our dual enrollment students to be registered before they leave for the summer, because so much hand-holding ends up needing to be done, and we have bare minimum staff over the summer to do that hand-holding. So if your student encounters any problems, they should be done, those problems should be handled in April and May. So people are here from both schools to actually answer those questions for you tonight. So if you have a question, raise your hand. Our counselors also can assist. Yes, ma'am.
Can you expand a little bit on the applicability of these types of courses if you're a student who goes to college out of state?
Yes. We have had these courses transfer to many out-state institutions, other state institutions outside of Minnesota. Wheaton, I know, is, one that we kind of look to as one of those picky colleges, and they accept most of them. I guess, there's always that one-off. They didn't like this one class, or you had too many. Sometimes we'll hear too many, in particular, social studies. If you're doing U.S. history, that's 2 semester classes. Gov, and Econ, that's technically 4 social science classes. So 1 or 2 of those are probably going to count towards elective credits. Psychology is a different category, so that isn't quite as repetitive. Sociology is a different category. But yes, please, I mean, this process that you see here for Northwestern is pretty similar to Crown's process as well. There are hard copies of the process for both schools back there. If you didn't pick them up and want them, you can get them. This presentation, as well as we videotaped tonight, those will all, a link to the video and to the presentation will be sent out probably Monday or Tuesday to all of our at least sophomore and junior families, so everybody, you guys can see it again, and the ones who weren't able to make it will have it as well. But if you were here tonight, you can take care of the to-do items, get those all checked off your list. Okay? Again, if you have questions for the whole group, go ahead and throw them out now. If you are logged in and getting going as a student and run into something, raise your hand and we'll come assist.